These will be the dominant 7th chords on the 1, 2, 3, 4 string family in G. We'll begin with the basic dominant 7, root 5th, 7th, 3rd, G7, G, D, F, and B. First inversion B, F, G, and D. Second inversion D, G, B, and F. And third inversion F, B, D, and G. Okay, we will begin at the root position. So we can move the soprano voice to B to C. Also to A. And nearby is a common voicing. This G, B, F, and A doesn't have the 5th present and it has a 9th in it. That's very common. Going back to the original, we can bring the D up to E and the top voice down to A. G, E, F, A. And then we can bring the top voice back to B and then to C. And even just G, D, F, and A is fairly common. Now the associated harmonies here will be a B minor 7 flat 5 and also an altered F major 7 with a flat 5. So we'll discuss those as we move. In moving ahead to this sort of a sound, we have an F over G, an 11th chord sound, G, C, F, and A. The B can be added. Also here, A, D, G, and B, and the C added. So in moving up from there, we have an A, C, F, and G. And we can move the C to B. Gives it a sort of dominant 9th chord sound. And in moving ahead, we'll look at the next station, which is B, F, G, and D. Top voice can move to E, 13th chord. Back to C. Also, the A can come in, B, F, A, and C, which is kind of an F chord over a B. Going backwards, we have a C, F, G, and B, and that top voice can move to A, C, F, G, and A, and then the C goes to B to give you a proper 9th chord, B, F, G, and A. So those are common. Here's where the minor 7 flat 5 enters. This is B, F, A, and D. Top voice, move to E. And that, of course, makes it sound like a 13th chord, or an F major 7 with a flat 5, really, from a technical perspective. The related chord is also D minor, the C, F, A, and D. Top voice moving to a B. There's your F with a raised 11 type sound. Also, in moving downwards, we have this chord when we started to look at the added 9, B, D, G, and A. But of course, we now have this G moving to F, so there's our B minor 7 flat 5, which is B, D, F, and A, and the top voice can move to G. Now the middle voice, the tenor voice, actually in this case, B, E, F, and A can go from D to E as well. And in doing that, we have a B, E, F, and D, or a C. So either is fine for a dominant sound. Moving forward, we have a typical add 9, which is a B, G, A, and D. Top moving to F, which gives it a dominant 9 chord sound. B, G, A, and F, sort of an F chord over a G chord sound. In terms of past voicing, this common voicing, this E, F, C, and G, also mixed in with B, C, G, and D, going to A, kind of resolving to a dominant chord like that. Moving ahead, D, G, B, and F. Voice exchange with the F and the G gives us a B, a D, F, and that's a B and a G. Also, an added ninth on a D, but it sounds like a 13th chord on a G. E, F, A, and D. And then the top voice going to G. So that would be E, F, A, and G. Moving downwards from this chord, we have this B minor 7 flat 5 coming from this G7. So we just move the G to A. D, A, B, F. Voice exchange. And we can use this D going to E. So we have like a F major 7 flat 5, but better this way, F, A, B, and E, like a G 13th chord. We can hear that sound. Now the soprano voice moving to G to provide a B minor 7 flat 5, F, A, B, and D. And that's common in that position. F, A, D, and G as well for a dominant 7th chord. And it should be mentioned with these sorts of chords, going back to this F, A, B, and D, they sort of provide a cluster closed voicing sound moving downwards. So the top voice moving down, and E, G, B, and C, and moving downwards. That's E, G, A, and C. Moving to, so this is a 9th chord here. D, F, A, and C. D minor 7, moving simply the C goes to B. That's the only move like here. Alto voice moving to G, D, F, G. Moving again, C, F, G, A. B, moving to A. C, E, G, A. Moving to F. Moving downwards, B, D, G. Moving to B, D, F, and A. Moving the top voice to G. Moving down. So we can see that those move downwards sort of in an impressionistic sort of sound. In a manner sort of like Debussy and composers from the Impressionist school. Also, we have our traditional G7 here, F, B, D, and G. Top voice can move to A. Also, we can move the inner voice, F, B, C, and A, F, B, C, and G, and then backstretch. So we can do F, B, C, and E, and F, B, C, and D. And again, we have that very close harmony. So we hear all the all sound G7. Going back to this F, B, D, and G, we can move any of the voices up to the next diatonic scale tone. A is common for a 9th chord. E is common too. There's the F major 7 with the flat 5. It would normally be this C, but it moves to B. Also, going the opposite direction, G, B, E, and F. Okay. Move it to just an A minor sound, G, B, C, and A. And then going back to the F, which would be G, B, C, and F, and then an F major 7, G, A, E, and F as well. Resolving. the B minor 7 flat 5 we spoke of. If we move, here's a B minor 7 flat 5 in the form of a G9, and we can say if we move each D to E, for instance this inversion, A, D, F, and B, and we can move the D to E, or we can consider an F major 7 where the C goes to B. In each of those possibilities, that's basically what happens. The D minor 7 and the F major 7 chord, the subdominant chords, are related to this G7 by only a switch of one note. In the D minor 7, the case of C to B, and then the root can go up a whole tone to create the F major 7 with the flat 5 substitution for G7. So that gives you just a broad overview, basic overview of the dominant 7 chords on 1, 2, 3, 4 string family in G.